Hello, welcome to Slogan's Rock and Metal Extravaganza. This is our debut episode for our state-to-state obscurities and first listens. As you can
Yep.
see on Logan's screen there, it's starting off with Alabama and Alaska. We're going to discuss Brother Kane and Pandemonium. Well, it's kind of hard to read the Pandemonium one there, but yep, so
It's back there.
yeah. So yeah, I guess start with like a little history on each band. We'll start off with Brother Kane first. So they were formed by Damon Johnson, who is actually very well known now from his time spent in Thin Lizzy since 2011. He's played live with Leonard Skinner. He had his own band, Black Star Riders. It was kind of a super group after the Thin Lizzy thing.
Yep.
He's done a lot of stuff. Yeah, they're from Alabama. That's when we did this, it was supposed to be obscure bands. They're probably the most well-known because they are still touring but for me, I've never heard them before, so that's why I kind of added the whole first listens part of it. So So then we got it says they did 3 albums in the 90s. But then they did kind of slip into a little bit of obscurity after that, and
got dropped by their label.
Yeah, no one talks about them. They were on Virgin. They were on a major label and everything. They became active again in 2022, so just recently. And then their first album went to number 14 on the Billboard charts.
Yep.
And the first song on the album peaked at number 2 on Billboard. Did pretty well, and then they changed their sound. So we'll get into the first album. So if Logan wants to discuss that, his thoughts and some favorite songs and standout songs on there.
Yeah, this is definitely my favorite of the 3 right here.
Yeah.
They definitely showed their loves for bands like the Stones and the Black Crowes in these songs, and just a great debut, really full of great rock songs in that southern rock style. And some of my favorite songs, I guess Got No Shame would be one of them. It has to be. I mean, that's just a great intro to start your career, and it got to number 2 on the mainstream rock charts too. And Hard Act to Follow was another pretty big song for them. I don't know if it charted. I know they made a video for that one.
Yeah.
So them 2 songs together probably gave them some time to kind of get bigger than some of these bands we're going to talk about.
Yeah.
But and then there's the song Pressure on here, which I like. It's a pretty cool song. It's kind of got like a Guns N' Roses kind of riff to it. Reminds me of Guns, at least. But there's a song on here called Woman, which kind of shows their ballad kind of style, but it like turns into a hard rock song at the end.
Oh
yeah, I love that one too. But yeah, if you're into hard rock and southern rock at all, this album is definitely worth checking out. It's pretty long, and me and Sydney have talked about this. Maybe they could have cut a couple songs. Yeah, it's like 55 or something. But I think every song's pretty, it starts getting kind of samey towards the end, but it's all pretty good.
Oh yeah.
So and the drummer was Scott Collier, and the guitarist was Roman Glick, and Glenn Maxey was the bass player, I think. Yeah. Oh, and I want to mention too, Damon Johnson was in Alice Cooper's band in 2004.
Right. Yes, he was in Alice. Yes.
Yep. He helped him co-write Dirty Diamonds, which is a killer album. But yeah, that's about all I had to say about the first album. So.
Okay. Yeah, I think it's a very. Yeah, I would say it's very Black Crowes.
Yep.
I hear a little bit of Tesla just in his vocals, because not so much the early Tesla. The first Tesla was more just straight ahead heavy metal, but then they went into like a more bluesy thing because they started doing the acoustic stuff. But then they really went into a blues direction. So if you like Tesla and Black Crowes, highly recommend the first album. And like you said, the first song, Got No Shame, is great. It's a great lead-off song to start your career, like you said. Yeah, I don't usually like harmonica too much, but that song would be nothing without it. Not nothing, but like it wouldn't suit.
It definitely adds
a song without it. Yeah.
It adds an extra flavor to that
Huge
whole song.
There's great guitar playing, and he's a great singer and a guitar player.
Yep.
Like, yeah. I don't know if he was the lead player or if he was mostly rhythm, but
yeah, I'm not entirely sure about that.
He had a second guitar player, but he's a very, very, very good singer. But yeah, total. And it's not surprising that he sounds like Jeff Keith from Tesla because they both are from Alabama.
Yep.
Like Tesla was from, I guess they were in LA. I don't know. Tesla, I can't remember where Tesla was from. Maybe an LA band, but he was from Alabama.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's that connection. And then yeah, I think Woman's probably, I'd say, is probably my favorite song on this album.
Yeah.
I love
it's a great one, man.
It starts off with like this almost like a ballad. And you're like, okay, it's just a slow song, but then out of nowhere this just chugging riff comes in and it's just a fun high energy song after that.
Which they kind of revisit that like on Make Your Play and a couple of the later songs. Make Your Play kind of has like a heavier kind of section too. But yeah.
But even like Hard Act to Follow, that's a decent song. But like it should have been massive. It was a hit, but like that should still be getting played on like classic rock radio or something.
Did you ever see the video to that song? It's pretty wild.
I've yet to watch the video. I know they popped out. I still gotta go get around to watching those. But yeah.
I think it's supposed to be like a talent show or something, and all these people.
That makes sense. Hard Act to Follow. Yeah, that's clever.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's the chorus is so catchy in that song. I feel like if this had Black Crowes on it instead of Brother Kane, it's selling millions of copies.
I definitely hear. Is it Chris Robinson? Is Chris the singer on Black Crowes?
Chris Robinson. Yes.
I hear him a lot too in Damon Johnson.
Yep. Right. Yeah. I mean, they're Southern, right? So they're gonna have that voice. But yeah, he's a phenomenal singer. Yeah, Hard Act to Follow should have been like a #1 hit. Like even Don't Turn Your Back on Me.
Do you get a Zeppelin vibe kind of off that song? Because I kind of hear like Trampled Underfoot. Or...
Don't Turn Your Back on Me?
Yeah, it's kind of got that kind of...
I almost hear AC/DC.
Oh, yeah.
Like it's not
kind of straightforward like that.
Almost like the slow AC/DC, just the way the guitar is recorded. And then it turns into its own thing. I'm not saying the song is, it sounds like just the main riff. Right. And then the chorus comes in and it's like this own just whole anthemic chorus that you can sing along to, singing Don't Turn Your Back on Me. It's very catchy. You hear it and you're like, this wasn't a big hit. Like, I don't get it.
Yeah, like, I mean, it really, the first 30 or 35 minutes of this album are all pretty killer.
How Long is another one. That's probably another one of my favorites.
Yeah, that's a great
song. No Shame, the title right off the bat. Not crazy on Hard Act to Follow, but it still should have been a big hit because that's radio-friendly music right there. Like, that should have been huge.
Yep.
The same with Don't Turn Your Back on Me, with the cool, like, AC/DC-ish riff and then the catchy chorus. Like,
yeah, and their producer during this time was Marty Fredrickson. And I think he worked on, like, kind of poppier kind of stuff. So it kind of... Some rock bands, I've seen he had Buck Cherry and some of the 90s bands he kind of worked with. So,
yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah, like I said, Woman, like, Pressure's probably the heaviest. I guess
do you hear any Guns N' Roses in Pressure any or
the whole album? Guns N' Roses was bluesy too, so
yeah.
This should have, I guess maybe they were a little too late. If this came out in 90, maybe it would have done even better.
Yeah.
But I don't think the album did too much yet. Charted, but then it quickly dropped off. Like I don't like.
Yeah, because there's no
sales. It's
not
like they remained on the charts and did big, huge tours. I don't think. Like
no. Yeah, I
don't think songs that got played on the radio, but they weren't selling out arenas or doing big festivals. Or 93 is when the first. What year? The first album was 93.
Yeah, and they started in 90. They formed in 90.
Yeah, they should have got that first album right away. I don't know what the story was on that.
Maybe that's part of why it's so long. You know what I mean? Maybe if they would have
had so many songs because they were all 3-year-old songs. Yeah. Pressure's probably, it's hard to say favorite. Like I've said, these are all my favorite. But like, favorites, I would definitely go Got No Shame, How Long, Woman in Pressure. So that's 4 really, really.
Yeah.
It's got 11 songs. I'd say 4 are like really, really, really amazing songs. And the rest is good. And no, not original lineup. It's mostly.
I think it's just
Damon Johnson, but
Damon.
He's the voice. He writes most of the music that he is basically the band.
I got it wrote down here. I think Glenn came back too, but could be wrong.
Yeah.
Maxie and Johnson being the only members from the classic debut to stay. So.
Well, yeah. And then Last Time is kind of like, this is where I think, like, at the very end it starts to get a little bit samey, like you said, and repetitive. Like the soloing though, like on every song, even though some of the songs do get repetitive, his solos, it's just a great guitar player. Whether it's Damon or the other guy, I think it's probably Damon.
Yeah, I'd say it is.
But I think it's a great, it's a great album. Like, I still think it's a really good album. It's enjoyable listen. Even the songs that do get repetitive near the end, I can still put it on and enjoy it. Like, it's not something I won't ever listen to ever again. Like, it's just, I think it's still a really good, solid album. I don't know how I would rate it. Like, if we're rating, I'd still probably give it like a 7. Like, it's really, I still find it enjoyable to listen to.
Yeah.
Like, I can always go back and listen to Got No Shame over and over and over again, and I don't get tired of it, even with the harmonica and everything, just for whatever reason. It works in that song.
It's a great rock song for sure.
Even How Long, it's kind of like the ballad, right? But it starts and picks up, and just really good, fun riffs.
Yeah.
There is really great guitar playing on this album, despite it being a little bit repetitive at times. Yeah, some great guitar playing.
Yep.
If you like just straightforward, like Zeppelin influenced, a little bit of Black Crowes. Yeah, like you said, some Stones on some stuff because of the acoustic.
Yeah.
If you're into, but yeah, like for mostly though, if you're into the Black Crowes, you would love this stuff. Because Black Crowes basically pretty much had the same influences as these guys, it sounds like.
Yep.
Maybe that hurt them. Maybe people just thought, oh, I might as well just listen to the Black Crowes. Why do I need to listen to this?
Yeah.
But good music's good music. So.
Yeah, that's a great debut.
Pretty solid album. Yeah, you want to get into the second one?
Yeah, we get to the second album, which was Seeds, which came out in 1995.
We should probably show the covers of these.
Yeah. But they're not much, really. I mean, these covers kind of.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But, that one came out in 1995. It had a single, and Fool Shine On, which got to #1 on the Billboard Rock charts. And 4 of the songs from this album ended up on the soundtrack of a Halloween movie, The Curse of Michael Myers, which is kind of crazy. Yep, there it is.
Kind of a weird kind of.
The first album's kind of strange too, the way it looks.
Yeah.
But they've used Fool Shine On, Hung on a Rope, 2020 Faith, and Horses and Needles in the movie.
Okay, but, that's interesting.
Yeah, and I said it's got a definite change in style, more towards the alternative rock that was popular at the time. Kind of, I seen one review that said it kind of combines that and some 70s rock with it. But some other songs I like on Seeds, Kerosene reminds me of kind of like, but Kerosene reminds me of stuff off the first album, kind of. It's got a pretty cool riff on it, and Bad Seeds kind of reminds me of that too. And I like the rocker of the last song, High Speed Freezing. It's pretty cool. But there's a couple on here. I think In Tempted, that one's like total grunge. You can tell that came out in 1995. Yeah. That song sounds like the big grunge bands of the time. And Voice of Eugenia's like that. Breadmaker's kind of a cool song too. It's kind of got like a different kind of vibe to it. And a couple of the songs, the first couple, Hung on a Rope's all right. But I can't like some of these songs. I really can't remember how they go. Like Rise on Water, and I guess they just weren't memorable to me. I guess, but I want to mention too, Roman Glick, Glenn Maxey left before this album came out, so Roman Glick became the bass player because he's a guitarist on the first album. So But yeah, if I was gonna give it a rating, I maybe like a 6, 5.5. Pretty good. It's got its moments, especially, and this is kind of targeted towards a completely different audience because if you like, like the alternative stuff of the time, it's probably a lot different than the first album. So you might like this album, even if you don't like the first one, I guess.
What Halloween movie it was again?
The Curse of Michael Myers. I think that's Halloween 6, I believe.
The fourth, the fourth is Return of Michael Myers, right?
Return, yeah.
Right. The titles were confusing because it was all just Return, Curse, and, yeah.
I can't remember what 5 is. Maybe it's 5. It's either 5 or 6. I know that. But yeah, that's about all I had to say about that album. So
yeah, so yeah, like the second, I still find like at first I'm like, oh, that sounds kind of grungy, the second album, but there's actually still, it's like a weird mix almost of, I hear Alice in Chains almost.
Oh yeah,
Alice in Chains was technically whatever grunge, whatever you want to call them, but they were bluesy. So that's to me what it sounds like. And even his voice has like a little bit of a Lane Staley on this album, a little bit.
Yeah, that's a great point. Yeah,
and it's very, like even the song titles, like Got No Shame, Woman, How Long, they're all just like these fun upbeat songs. Then you got titles on here like Horses and Needles, Hung on a Rope, like Kerosene, like I think those, like right off the bat, first two songs, Horses and Needles and Hung on a Rope, I think that's a great start.
Oh yeah,
those would probably be two of my top songs. Like you said, Kerosene and High Speed Freezing, those are the other two. So my four standouts on this album would be Horses and Needles, Hung on a Rope, Kerosene, and High Speed Freezing.
Yeah, so we're pretty much syncing up here with this one.
The rest is just, it's not that it's bad music, it's just not really my thing.
Yeah.
But if you're into like, I like Alice in Chains, but this sounds a little bit too close to that, and it's almost like, I don't know.
Yeah, no, I agree with
way too similar.
Yeah.
It's good music though. Like it's still good music for me. Like to me, it's like I said, four standout songs, and I think they're actually really, really good songs.
Yeah.
There's some great guitar playing, like especially on Hung on a Rope is heavy. It's a really, really fast, heavy song.
Too short.
High Speed Freezing picks up at the end, some great soloing. Like, regardless of the music style, there's soloing on all of it. Like he's a very good guitar player.
Yeah.
And it's interesting that, like you said, the bass player on the guitar player on the first album you said became the bass player on the second one, or the other way around, or
Yep.
Right. Yeah, it's still really good album. I mean, what did I give the first one? 7? I'd
7, yeah.
probably go 6.5 because I don't think it's really that much different. It's like they took the bluesy element but added like a 90s, like, I wouldn't really call it alternative. It's more similar to Alice in Chains, which is just more, it's bluesy. It's very, very bluesy, but the alternative influences is starting to creep in a little tiny bit.
Yeah.
But it still remains faithful to the debut a little bit. There's no harmonica or any of that stuff. It's more just like it's probably a heavier album, I'd say.
Yeah.
Still good. I'd still recommend it to people.
Yeah. Probably like Horses and Needles and Hung on a Rope and Kerosene. That stuff's probably heavier than anything on the debut. But.
And like maybe some of these songs that were not really great on would come off better live.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
They're probably excellent live musicians. I'm imagining like they're still around. So, and it's weird because when I first picked Brother Kane for Alabama, that same exact night, Logan messaged me saying one of his cousins is going to see them. So weird coincidence that happened.
Yep.
Kind of funny. Yeah. Ashley's in Australia. Time zone, not even in the same day. From the future.
Yeah. LC asked if Pandemonium's still together. Better hold on. Hold on a second.
Yeah, we gotta get to there. Yeah, no snow there. Ashley gets a Christmas at the beach.
Yeah. Appreciate you coming on here, Ashley. 7:54 in the morning. That's pretty early to be watching us. So
you missed AC/DC. You'll have to go back and watch it though.
Yep.
I don't know if you want to because we didn't rate the album highly. But yeah.
Well, we all like what we like.
Yeah.
Like we say, you know.
It's 4:30 p.m.
Yeah, I'll go into the third album if you're ready for me to.
Yep.
Talk about 1998's Wish Pool, which really, the band really dived into alternative completely on this album. What I wrote down. This album had a number one song for them in the charts with "I Lie in the Bed I Make." After this album was released, however, Virgin dropped them after the release. Banned in a movie theater for the cover, I guess.
I actually kind of like it. I like the red. Kind of looks cool.
Yeah, it's a cool background kind of thing. But yeah, I've looked at interviews Damon Johnson's talked about. The label kind of let them down because just certain people at the label didn't care about them by the time this album came out. And it had very little promotion or very little push of the record in stores or anything. But I'll get into some of the songs that I like on this album. I know the second song, Kenny Aronoff actually helped them write it. The drummer.
Okay.
Played on all kinds of stuff, you know, John Mellencamp and, you know, all them kind of bands. Where Was I to Know? That's a pretty good tune. Machete, which is really the standout for me. That is a great kind of heavy, drum heavy, I said, because I love the drums on this album. Even if some of the songs I'm not crazy about, the drumming is really professional.
Yeah.
But yeah, and the radio hit "I Lie in the Bed I Make" is kind of, it's all right, I guess. It's not my favorite on here. Not compared to like their one on Seeds, which was "Fool Shine On." I really like that song. But yeah, them two, and tell you what I don't like, the last two songs, I'm not crazy about those. Lead My Follow and Human After All, both of them are really slow, acoustic kind of numbers, you know, which, you know, it kind of defeats like how on Seeds it ends in High Speed Freezing, which is a great up-tempo rocker, you know, and they kind of leave you wanting something on this album with the ending of this one. But there's another one, The Crow Flies. I like that song pretty good. That's got some cool kind of guitar riffage behind it, some nice soloing. But yeah, besides that, I don't really have too much else to say about this record. Probably give it maybe a 4. Yeah, I mean, it's just not my kind of, because I'm okay with some alternative, like you were saying, but just some of this stuff just doesn't work for me, you know. Just
yeah.
Which I will go on to say, Damon Johnson said this was his favorite album they did. So, I mean, what do I know?
Maybe from a lyrical standpoint, I guess, right? Because that's
yeah. Because well, some of these songs definitely, if you're into singer-songwriter kind of stuff, I could see some people liking this.
Maybe it is his best lyrics, maybe.
Yeah, it really shows. I mean, this band really kind of had a dexterity to them, like they could do different.
You got to give them credit for being able to do different styles. Not everyone can pull off completely. It doesn't even sound like the same band.
Yeah, no, this is definitely a different animal compared to the first album completely.
If you like Black Crowes and you also like alternative, then you'll love this band. You'll think this is like the greatest band, and yeah.
For sure, yeah. But yeah, man, you can start going into it if you want.
Yeah, for me, it's even I can't even really remember how much of the song goes. It's just not my thing. Not saying it's just, oh, this is garbage, or it's not for me. I could see why people would love this though. Like this stuff was huge in the 90s. I don't really care for it, but it should have been huge. It should have been one of the top albums because this kind of music was just dominating the charts. You had bands like Pearl Jam. So like this same style, it's there. I mean, and it's funny because Damon Johnson, I think he's a way better singer than any of those other alternative.
Oh yeah, I'd agree with that. Yeah,
he's a phenomenal singer. So the fact that he was able to even go and switch to alternative like that.
Yeah.
It's just completely different. Machete, yeah, like I said, Machete is really the only song on the album that I can really find getting enjoyment out of. It's just the rest is just too far into alternative for me. But like I said, if you're into alternative, I'd give this a 10 because that's the whole thing is just like alternative music. So yeah, if you're really into alternative music, then I'd call this album a 10 because it is good at what it does for that style.
Yeah, for sure.
Like it's well played and everything. It's just not something I really would sit and listen to again. Very alternative. Yeah. The songs are, I don't really call them heavy, but like they're like a slow, heavy, almost like not depressing, but like it's typical of like the alternative grunge era.
Yeah, they're kind of heavy for the time, I guess, is the best way to.
All right, but Machete is weird. Machete seems like an outlier because that seems like it could have fit on the second album almost.
Yeah,
it's a heavy song with a great solo in it. None of the other songs really have much for leads or soloing or anything. They're all just kind of like these, yeah.
Yeah, they're more focused on the song than.
Right. Then yeah, I think Machete's a great song. Like that's a really, really good song. It's probably just as good as anything on the second album. I'd say I'd go for saying yeah, like it could have been on the second album.
Yeah.
Like if more of the album sounded like Machete, I'd love it. And unfortunately, it's too alternative for me, so it's not really fair for me to rate it. So if I were to rate it, I'd give it like a 1, but that's like I don't like alternative music that much, so I'm not gonna give it a 1. So I'm not really even gonna try to rate it because it's not really fair because it's not my. It would be like me rating a Taylor Swift album. Like, what's the point? It's not really my style of music, right? I'm not gonna. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Like, if it was all like Machete, I'd be giving it. But like I said, if you're into alternative, I highly recommend this. If you don't like alternative, then you're probably not going to want to listen to it. You'll probably like the first album more if you're into that more bluesier Black Crowes style, like we said. But
yeah, for sure.
Got to give them credit for trying. Like I still feel like that third album should have been huge, but it came out and like then that was it. They just broke up.
Yeah, the label kind of just
went on to other things, but it's just I don't know what happened. They dropped the ball. The label must have dropped the ball on that because they should have been huge.
Yeah, and they got back together 2 times before 2022, I guess. 2005, they had 2 shows.
Right. Okay.
And then they did a little tour in 2012. So
when they play, do they play mostly stuff from the second and third, or do they do a lot of stuff from the debut? Because like,
I'm guessing
how do you really please the fans and the audience that way? It's kind of tough, right? Because you have like 2 different careers almost.
Yeah, I'm guessing they probably play a lot of the debut more than anything. I would think.
Hard. Yeah, because his roots, he's gone on record as saying like Thin Lizzy and like guys like the Thin Lizzy guitar players and Michael Schenker and like some of these guys are like some of his influences. Yeah. So it was kind of weird he would go in an alternative direction when he's more when he's more based in the blues. So yeah, Brother Kane, they're a good band. I would highly recommend checking them out. First album is great. Like I've listened to it a few times. Agree. His guitar sound is great. It's really even the alternative albums, the album I should say, the second one's not really. They're all well recorded, so I'm not gonna, like I said, I'm not really gonna rate the third one because it's just not really fair to rate a genre I'm not really familiar with. So, but to me it just sounds like 90s alternative. So I can't really give it a proper rating because it's not really fair on it. But like I said, people that like alternative would probably give this a 9 or a 10.
Yeah, I'd probably give the first album an 8 too. I forgot to rate it, but
yeah, there's
great
enough
album.
to like. Like I said, if your ears like both this kind of stuff, unlike mine, like if you're into that kind of thing, like I said, you'll like both if you like alternative and this. So yeah. I would check all 3 out just to see if you like it and if you're into it. But yeah, they're all there. They can all go on the home page where it says playlists. You can scroll through, and there's Brother Kane discography, and you can listen to all of it. It's all there, track by track. So
if anybody streams, they're all on Spotify. All 3 of them are.
Yep. Oh, they got them on Spotify too. Okay, so that's good. Yeah. Like they're probably going to be the most famous band out of all these. Not probably, they will be the most famous band out of any ones that we've talked about. Like I second guessed it when we picked them because I'm like, well, they're not really obscure.
Yeah. I think they put out a new 2023 too, Blinded by the Sun and Are You In There Anymore, which I haven't heard, but
like 2 singles.
It's pretty cool.
They are still touring, yes.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. They're still making.
He's so busy because like he every now and then he's with Skinner, he's with Thin Lizzy. Damon Johnson is
because he started
very busy.
He started that Skinner gig after Gary's first heart attack. He had to have a heart surgery.
Yeah.
So I was reading too. He's the only member of Lynyrd Skynyrd to be from Alabama, ironically enough.
That's funny. They dedicate Sweet Home Alabama to him. Let him play that song every single time.
Yep. Awesome.
Yeah. Yes, Ashley, go check out Brother Kane. That's really good.
Especially that first album, Ashley, if you like Southern rock.
Oh, yeah. If you're into Southern rock, it's
very well done. You ready to travel to Alaska then?
Yeah, so we're going all the way from Alabama all the way up to Alaska. So, yeah.
Yeah, I can start. You want me to? Or?
Yep, you want to?
Yeah.
You want to do the intro for them this time?
Yeah, I can.
Yep.
So we're talking about Pandemonium, which they changed their name originally, correct? Because they were Demon. For a couple demos I seen, they had the name Demon. But they were formed in Fairbanks, Alaska. And they moved to Los Angeles in the early 80s. And they landed a record deal with Metal Blade after appearing on the first Metal Massacre compilation with their song Fighting Backwards, which me and Sydney have talked about. It's kind of a strange tune, but if you're interested in this band at all, I wouldn't say to start there, but it's definitely worth checking out. 3 brothers make up the bulk of this band with Chris, David, and Eric, and they sing. Chris sings, David plays guitar, and Eric plays bass, I believe. I can't remember. Was it Rate? I'm probably going to.
Last name is pronounced Reish or Resh. Yeah,
Reish. Yeah.
Reish.
Yep. Yeah, and they were joined by drummer Kevin Fitzgerald for the first couple years of their existence. I know.
If anyone knows how to pronounce that name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, their first album is Heavy Metal Soldiers, which came out in 1983. And me and Sydney both talked about this when we started getting going with this. It really has a On Through the Night by Leopard feel to it. A lot of the songs. The title cut, just great anthemic metal, like Call to Arms kind of thing, like we were talking about earlier today. But it's got that, heavy feel to it.
Yeah.
I said Little Lady Liar kind of reminds me of Sorrow is a Woman.
Yeah.
Kind of has that.
Sorrow is a Woman, Little Lady Liar. Sort of.
Has that same kind of, yeah, exactly. Got them acoustic interludes and stuff. And yeah, it's a great song, great solo. Yeah, and some Girls in Love is kind of a cool song. I like that one. It's kind of a little bit more, I wouldn't say poppier, but it's kind of going more towards hit territory. Like they're trying to
songy kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But my favorites, and I think you agree with me for sure, are the last 2 songs, This World and Radiation Day, and I kind of put them together. And I noticed they kind of like to do this a lot on these albums. The last couple songs kind of form a theme a little bit. But yeah, it's just heavy subject matter and heavy rock and heavy metal, I guess. But yeah, it's great stuff. I mean, if you're a production person, you're probably not going to be too crazy about it because it does, it doesn't sound the best, but I mean, it's the first album they ever did and probably didn't have a lot of money at the time. And,
Yeah.
But I think there's a charm to that sometimes, I mean, certain albums don't need to sound like $1 million to be good,
Yeah.
But yeah, that's about all I had to say about that one. If I was gonna rate it, I don't know. I'd probably give it an 8.
Yeah.
Personally. Yeah. I like most of
I
it.
agree,
The only cut down about this album is, and it's probably because it's their first album and stuff, but it's pretty short. It's only 30 minutes long.
Yeah. Unless you get like
But
the
there is a
re-release
version on YouTube.
CD with, yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Because they re-released all 3 albums on CD, and they all have bonus songs, which were just the Demon recordings from before they changed their name to Pandemonium. And you can tell it's from older. Like the music just sounds older than the rest of the album for the most part.
I've seen them. Those 3 releases came out on Retrospect Records, which I guess that label went under now. And I seen it said they're looking for another deal, like to try to release them again. So, but yeah, it's definitely worth trying to find the Heavy Metal Soldiers. It's about 50 minutes long on YouTube because it's got all them demos and good stuff. But yeah. So what do you got to say about Heavy Metal Soldiers?
Yeah, like I said, the title track, Heavy Metal Soldiers, is so catchy. That chorus. I've been humming that in my head all day. Like I'll be at work and I'll just start humming that song out of nowhere. It's just such a good. Yeah, they're not on Spotify. Like I said, Ashley, they're all there on the YouTube channel. You can. It's probably how you're gonna have to listen to them. Probably gonna have to listen to them through YouTube.
Yeah, these guys are on Spotify. Yeah.
Got them all there. If you go on the homepage and check out the discography, it should say Pandemonium discography. So everything we talk about, even like in the Triumph discussion, all the stuff that we've talked about, it's all there. So anyone that watches can go and just check it out. So yeah, Heavy Metal Soldiers. Yeah, what a great.
Yeah.
It almost starts.
Mark
reminds me of. Yep. Yeah.
Mark made a great point.
With different singer from album to album, but it's the same guy. So got to give him some credit.
Really kind of shows his talent. I mean,
sadly, he passed away from cancer in 2007, I believe, or I might be getting the wrong year, but yeah, he did pass away from cancer, sadly, which is it's a shame.
Great singer.
One of those things. Yeah. But yeah, I definitely hear the Joe Elliott, like the early On Through the Night. Not so much High and Dry.
That was like the first thing you said when we started talking about him.
As soon as the song started playing, I'm like, oh, this sounds like some of the songs on Through the Night, and I love that album. So On Through the Night's like a desert island album for me. So that's
great. Yeah.
So I love that kind of, and I don't mind the raw production. Like to me, it doesn't have to be polished. I felt like if this was over polished, it might take away from a little bit.
Yep.
Yeah, the leads are a little bit really, really high pitched because of how
it's produced. Yeah,
how it's produced. But I find there's a charm to it. Like I love it.
Yeah,
to me, it's great. Like for a band from Alaska.
Yeah.
Like, and I mean, they were from. They're all from. All these guys are natives of Fairbanks, Alaska. But in 1980, they were just called Demon, and then in 80 they moved to LA to try to make it. Because you're not gonna. I mean,
no record deals in Alaska. Yeah,
you're too far away from everywhere else, right? That's the problem, right? It's a shame because I'm sure it's a beautiful place. Like it's.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's you got like the music business is like that. You got to move where the music is, right? And unfortunately, it didn't happen for them. They did open for Scorpions.
Yeah.
And yeah, they did open for Scorpions when Scorpions played in Alaska. So they did.
Yep.
There's pictures of them with Klaus. And so then, Little Lady Liar, same thing. It's another great song from the first album. I hear Sorrow is a Woman. That can't be coincidence because you got Sorrow is a Woman, Lady, Little Liar. The subject matter is pretty much the same. And again, that chorus is so catchy. It's just so simple, just the 3 words, but it works.
Yep.
That's the thing about this band. It's heavy, but the choruses are still like very, very catchy. It's not just fast, 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 fast with no like melody to it. It's fast and heavy, but there's great melody. Like I just love the way it's done. It's a great album.
Yeah.
There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 songs off of this album that I'd say are all like classic heavy metal. The rest is good too, but these are all standouts. And then so the other one is The Prey. Which I find is a really good song. Again, it's the same thing. Great catchy chorus. And just the guitar playing on this is just amazing. just phenomenal lead playing, and it's just a great early heavy metal album. It's what, 82, I believe?
83, I think.
Yeah, 83, right.
You can tell they like their new wave of traditional heavy metal.
Oh yeah, it definitely sounds
British.
Yeah, it sounds very British influenced. You wouldn't think it's an American band listening to it. Not on the first album, anyways. Like, it's very, and then yeah, like you said, the last two, This World and Radiation Day, just classic.
Yeah.
Just like I fell in love with this album. Played it a few times. Just it gets better. Formed in what year?
I didn't find any information. I don't. 78 maybe.
Yeah, because they would have.
I know 78 popped up, but I'm not entirely sure.
They formed in 1977.
77, okay.
They formed in 77 as Demon, and then changed it to Pandemonium.
Yeah.
And then yeah, they moved to California in 1980 to try to boost their career. Unfortunately, didn't work out that way. They should have been big, but maybe with better production they would have done better. I don't know. Who knows? It's hard to say. But I think it's a great classic metal album. Yeah, like the last song, Radiation Day, is like this long song, and then it just gets fast at the end, and they're just like, radiate, radiate, radiate. They just keep saying it, but it's just the way it's done is so good, and it's just so catchy. Like, just, yeah, I wonder how it would sound remastered. I'm not sure, but I don't know if the CD releases are remastered though. Are they not? Or are they just re-released onto CD? I don't know if they're actually remastered.
I think they're. Yeah, I think they're just
directly from the vinyl CD. Or they're not remastered.
Yeah.
And then even one of the bonus. I don't think they're remastered. No, and then even one of the bonus songs that you get with the re-release is from the Demon demo from 1980.
Yep.
And there's the song "The Battle," which is, I think, is a great song.
Yeah.
It's a great. Just it could have fit on the album, I find. But yeah, it's a great album.
Yeah, they definitely could have put it on there.
Oh yeah, I'd go 9. I'd give this a 9. I really like it. Like, it sounds so good. Like, to me, it's just classic heavy metal. Like I said, I love On Through the Night. That's a top album for me. Like, that's a high on my list of great albums, and this has that sound to it. So I'm all for it, and it's great. Like, it's great to see bands come from places like that where you don't expect it. Because like so many bands are just from LA. They moved there, but they're not actually.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
Great to see guys from like Alaska of all places to like making this kind of music.
Might really be the only band that really kind of
like
made it out of Alaska, and
I mean, that's gotta be quite the experience for guys like in their early 20s just leaving Alaska to go to LA to try to make it. Like, it's gotta be an experience.
That's a complete culture shift for sure, I'd say.
Yeah, completely. And they tried to move to Seattle in like the early 90s. I don't know if they were going to try to jump onto the grunge thing, maybe, because that's where Seattle, like, it was all about grunge. So maybe they were going to get into that style, but I guess they didn't get a deal. I don't know what exactly happened. Their bass player Eric still lives there. David, the guitar player, moved back to Alaska. I think his brother Chris also stayed in LA, I think.
Yeah, Chris moved back to Fairbanks is what I read.
I think he did also move back at some point to Alaska later on, but he sadly passed away, unfortunately. So
yeah. Well, you're ready for me to go into the second?
You want to go into the second album, Hole in the Sky.
Yeah, Hole in the Sky, released in 1985.
Yeah.
And I said it's the first album to feature drummer Glenn Holland, which he ended up playing in Wasp for like a short, I think it was like a spring tour in 87. Probably on, I don't know what album that would have been. Not Headless Children, the one before that. Probably Electric Circus. I think it would have been that tour. But Dave Bosch also plays on some.
Yeah, so it says the first album had Glenn Holland. That's where there's some conflicting. It's weird on the drumming.
So maybe Kevin Fitzgerald only played on the demos and Demon and stuff.
Yes. I think he played on the Demon demos, but by the time they were Pandemonium, it was Glenn Holland.
So maybe Glenn's well, I know Glenn plays on the second album some, but I don't know.
Because it says on Hole in the Sky is Dave Bash on drums.
Yeah, but I think Glenn plays on a couple songs or something. Right. It's weird.
Yeah, it's a really weird. Yeah, drums tracks 4 and 8. Guest does
yeah.
Yeah, so
they got that Judas Priest problem with drummers.
So, yeah. Who's our drummer? Yeah.
But yeah, overall, I find this album kind of be a little bit of a mixed bag. It's got some heavy metal firepower in it. I mean, like you don't got to look any further really than the first two side openers. Eye of the Storm and Evil Face being two of my favorites on here. Just great heavy metal. I mean, Jeff's lost.
Jeff, did you get into the eggnog already?
Too early to do that, Jeff. Come on.
I'm just kidding. Love Jeff.
But yeah, there's some strange right turns in here, like Don't Touch That Dial and Nothing Left to Say. Imagination too. But it's just them trying to hook onto that pop kind of metal, of the time, 85. But I will say they do the finale trick pretty cool in this one too, with Imprisoned by the Snow and After the Freeze, which, you have to play them two back to back pretty much. If you're not going to listen to the whole thing, they go together. The best part to say about this album to me is like the improvement overall of the band, with Chris's vocals really starting to shine through on this album. Production work obviously gets better here. Pretty much everything overall sonically sounding better. The good sophomore album with great killer tracks. Just not all of it appeals to what I like,
Yeah.
But it's all, you like metal in general, you'll probably like all this album. I also they toured with bands like Slayer, Quiet Riot, Metallica, Girl School around this time.
Slayer's an odd one. That stands out.
Yeah. Especially around this time, because Slayer would have been like Hell Awaits and stuff.
Yeah.
So, but I talked about Scorpions too. They opened for the Scorpions in Anchorage on the Love at First Sting tour. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, I mean, it's an improvement over the debut to me with the heavier songs. Like if the heavier songs on the first album had this kind of production,
I
mean, that would have been a really great album to me.
It does sound like they had better production on the second album, though. You're right.
Yeah. But I get why they were, kind of going towards that poppier kind of side of things,
Yeah.
On some of these songs. They also cover Boys in the Bright White Sports Car, which is a Trooper song, which I'm sure Sydney knows more about than I know more about. But but yeah, it's kind of a cool album. It's got its moments, I think. I'd probably give it maybe a 6.
Yeah.
6.5, somewhere around there.
Yeah, it's a pretty good. I still think it's a pretty decent album. Like it starts off strong with Eye of the Storm.
Yeah.
All right, Ashley.
Yeah, I didn't type it right, but.
Oh. So yeah, it's yeah.
Yeah, Eye of the Storm is great.
Eye of the Storm. What's that starting riff sound like? That what's
it goes down. Yeah, it goes down in the scale. Yeah.
I'm trying to think of that. It sounds familiar. I couldn't think of it though. I'll probably think of it after the show is over. That's one of those. It sounds so familiar, that riff.
Yeah, it's a great song. Yeah,
great energetic song. Eye of the Storm.
Yep.
A lot of the other stuff, like I said, Don't Touch That Dial. It's just a silly song about, like, don't change the radio, basically. If I want to hear rock and roll and heavy metal, it's kind of silly. But
yeah,
I feel like this is almost like their party album. Like they were having fun. And the guitar player, I've seen him post on Facebook how like this was actually his favorite of the three. So maybe they just had the most fun making this.
Yep.
They probably, it sounds like it, because a lot of the lyrical content is just really silly and just about having fun, but whatever, that's what they wanted to write about. And for me though, the standout tracks are Eye of the Storm, Imprisoned by the Snow, which is just again, the ending tracks on the album were always really, really strong. Yep. They knew how to end an album on a great note.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, like it's a really Imprisoned by the Snow is a great, great song. I think he even said David said that was like one of his. That's like probably his favorite song that they've ever written was Imprisoned by the Snow. They really did. Still, they moved to LA, but they still really leaned into the whole Alaska thing. Because you got the first album cover where there's all this ice in the background, and then even the song title Imprisoned by the Snow. And then even after Imprisoned by the Snow, it kind of leads into like this very Queen-like piano thing. Almost sounds not like Killer Queen, but that same sort of style. But it's like this. It's just a really cool, weird piano piece, but it sounds just like Queen. There's a total Queen influence on that. And it's called After the Freeze. It's not really a song. It's just kind of like an outro that plays after the last song. It's well done. Like I think it's really neat how they ended it like that. Like at first I thought, oh, it's kind of a weird way to end the album, just on this like little piano. But in context of the album, yes, it's actually really well done the way they ended it like that. And then
for sure.
And then there's again one of the bonus songs on the re-release that's just from one of the Demon demos. There's a few of them, but for me the great one is Difference of Opinion. It's I really like that song. I think that's a great song. Yeah, like Logan mentioned, they did Boys in the Bright White Sports Car. I thought they did it good. Like it was a good version, but I could have used one more original on there. It's a fun song though. The original's a fun song, so got to give them credit for covering that because I don't think anyone else has ever really. I'm sure people have covered it, but like I've never really heard another recording of someone covering that. So yeah, it's really. It's a good, decent album. I'd still give it a pretty decent rating, but yeah, I'd still probably give it a 7. Like even the songs that are really silly and just like silly party songs, that's still just good energy to them. They're fun.
Yeah.
It's not like the epic, like really just heavy in your like aggressive stuff on the first album, but there's still a lot to like. Even the cover, the cover of Boys in the Bright White Sports Car is fun. It's a fun version, and give credit to them for liking a band like Trooper and covering it. So.
Yeah, for pulling out something like that that's pretty obscure in the U.S. I mean,
and I remember I was looking at the YouTube comments, and I guess someone posted that song on there. And the guitar player, David, he commented and replied to the person saying, "Thanks so much for posting this. When we played this song live in LA, the people in LA went nuts thinking it was our own original song." They didn't even realize it was a cover, but yeah.
Yep.
And he said it's like, so then we get to the third album, which Logan can discuss.
Yep. The third album, The Kill, which came out in 1988. Which I don't know if I'm right about the drummer this time. It has Dave Graybill, I think is his name. But this one blew me away when I first heard it. Because I think me and Sydney were listening to these around the same time.
Yep.
And he was listening to the second album, and he kind of told me about like the popular songs. So it's like, oh, I'll just go to the third one first, you know. And like, man, just from the start of this album, like with Your Evil Ways, Cold Night, Last Star, Madness Ascending, all them songs just like blew me out of the water. And I was texting him like crazy. I'm like, man, this is like, this is killer heavy metal. Like, kind of has a power metal feel too in it. I feel got a little bit of that.
Definitely heavier.
Oh yeah. There really isn't a weak moment either on this one, I don't think. I was reading a review on here on this album, and the reviewer mentioned Riot's Fire Down Under, but in a modern kind of metal style. I could kind of hear that. But production on this album is awesome, you know. Chris's vocals on here really just like step above.
Great singer. He was able to.
Yep. Showing his power, and the guitar sounding just right for the style of metal. Everything sounds great on here. Great rhythm section. Yeah, the first four songs in a row, like I said, are all amazing metal songs.
Yeah.
Kind of get me like a Sabotage feel too in some of this stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, around this time period.
This is where they started to stray away from the British sound.
Oh yeah, for sure.
It sounded more American, I think, on this.
Truth be told, this is probably kind of when they found their kind of sound. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a shame because this is where they found their true sound, and then that's it, broke up. Like,
Yep.
okay. But,
yeah, it's unfortunate. It shouldn't have went that way. But
yeah.
The fifth song on this album, we get a cover of Radar Love, which I'm okay with it. It's an okay cover, you know. I don't really feel like it needs to be here. I mean, I get why they're probably trying to have a little bit of a hit there, you know, something kind of familiar. But I did read about this. I think there's a couple bands in 1988 who covered Radar Love, you know, not long after or before these guys did. And of course, White Lion did in like 87 or 86. So it's like, I think it kind of wasn't the best choice for them to do there. But it's still a good cover. I mean, I like how they change it. They make it heavier. The ending, you know, it starts getting faster and faster. That's pretty cool. Kind of changing dynamics and stuff. But yeah, it's pretty good side closer. And then we get back into the great heavy metal with side B, Driving Away. That's good. That's a cool, fast kind of song. Some of my favorite Pandemonium songs would be probably the last. Well, When It Comes to an End, and Hell is the Last Place. Hell is the Last Place is really cool. I mean, it's like catchy, but it's like dark lyric wise, and yeah, it's just pretty cool. I love that song. Their fast paced cover Snowblind is more to my liking than the Golden Earring one too. I like how they kind of make it heavier, faster a little bit. I said too with their touring here, they toured with Sabotage, funnily enough, after I wrote that in my notes. Sabotage, King's X, Sanctuary, and Killer Dwarves around this time period. You know, all around LA. They were touring.
Weird. Sanctuary is more of like a thrash band.
Exactly, yeah.
And yeah, Killer Dwarfs was like the lightest, I guess.
Well, King's X is kind of weird too. I mean, they had the heavy music.
They did some weird pairings back then. Like I said, was it Skinner? No, not Skinner. 38 Special opening for Sabbath or something?
Yeah, or even Johnny Van Zant band opening
for Sabbath. Johnny Van Zant band, that was it. Yeah. Johnny Van Zant opening for Sabbath. Like, what? Yeah. I mean, I would love to see that. For me, that's cool. I wouldn't care, but like, people are just, the poor guy had stuff getting thrown at him. The Sabbath fans were ruthless there. Like,
I'm sure it was probably, I'm not saying it was the same there, but you know, probably the same kind of feelings for some of this stuff. But unfortunately, this band would break up in 1989. Just because I think it says that they were feeling like the music scene was changing and they could feel it, and they just kind of thought they weren't going to fit in. And obviously, this record did nothing, unfortunately, which is a shame.
Yeah, you can't really keep losing money, right? Like you gotta.
Yeah.
At some point, you gotta realize.
Yeah. I mean, but this is just like a great forgotten gem of metal to me. Definitely my favorite of the three.
Oh yeah.
I mean, yeah, like I said, there's not really a bad song on it. I mean, everything. Yeah, but just a great solos, great guitar work, great bass work. You know, drumming's great, singing's awesome. But yeah, it's a great 38 minutes well spent. If you're gonna listen to one, I'd say if you're gonna listen to one album from this band, this will be the one to me. Check out
for sure.
But yeah, I'd probably give this a 9, to be honest.
Yeah,
it's a great album.
Okay. Yeah, like for me, starts off amazing. I love Your Evil Ways, and I do hear like it has a little bit like Shout at the Devil sound, but heavier. Like I think he's a better singer than Vince Neil. I mean, live probably was too. Like just the way the song starts, where just that way sometimes Vince would sing, and kind of the way he would sing like really, really fast, 2 words that rhymed. Like he starts off with, well, I remember One Cold November, and just the way he sings it has the very Vince Neil sound to it. And it's almost hard to understand what he's singing. I had to look up the lyrics. It almost sounds like he's repeating the one word the way he does it, because he says it so quickly with the, well, I remember One Cold November, but the way he says it is so quick, it almost sounds like he's just saying remember twice. But it's just it almost gives it like this really cool effect, the way he does it. And I just love that. It's a great song. And even the chorus, just great heavy, like just such a good song. Like, yeah, even Last Star, that's another great one.
Yeah, that chorus, man. I love that chorus of that song.
All the choruses on this, like even the songs that don't have like sing-along choruses are just good, solid, heavy song. Like, yeah, the standout, yeah, Your Evil Ways right off the bat, just great opening. Last Star is great, another amazing chorus, but it's heavy. Driving Away is probably my favorite on the album.
Yeah.
Because it's driving away all right. It sounds like it's just driving away straight through a wall. Just this
fast and heavy, yeah.
Probably the only song with really fast double bass. Sounds like it's double bass to me. I don't know, Logan, you probably would know better. Is that double bass?
Yeah, I'd say it's double bass. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's just amazing. Whoever's the drummer is on this one, yeah, Dave Gray. They kept changing drummers. It seemed like. But yeah, I mean, it was the brothers band, right? I guess they have to keep probably finding friends or people auditioning people for the band. I don't know what exactly. Just guessing here, but yeah, I don't know what. Yeah, like whoever he is, great drumming on it. Like every drummer they had was good. But yeah, that's such a heavy, fast, easily the heaviest song they ever did, I think. Certainly the fastest, anyways.
Yeah, for sure.
But like it doesn't take away, there's still melody. It's not like where it's just in your face and there's no melody and it's just it's like okay.
No, kind of how it reminds me of certain bands like Sabotage and
yeah,
they had that heavy element, but they had the melody element too, you know.
Right. And just great vocals. It's great song. Yeah. And then you get to then When It Comes to the End and Hell Is the Last Place. Two excellent songs. They're all just so memorable. Just choruses that get stuck in your head and just won't go away. Like they're just great, amazing songs, just so heavy.
Yep.
Great guitar playing throughout. And even the other songs that I'm not really going to bring up as my favorites, they're still really good. And I like the Radar Love cover. At the end, it doesn't sound like Radar Love anymore. They just go nuts on guitar and just break into like this really fast thing that has nothing to do with Radar Love, but it's still really cool that they end it like that. It almost makes it sound like how you would perform it live at the end, just go off into like this big, huge solo at the end. But I think it's cool. Like I love the original, so I thought it was cool that they did it and made like a metal version.
Yeah.
I like it better than the White Lion version, if I'm being honest.
Oh yeah, I do too.
I always liked the White Lion version, but I thought his voice was exactly. I was just gonna say his voice is really right. It's perfect for that song. Mm-hmm. And even Snowblind, they nailed Snowblind. His voice was perfect for that too. Like he was such a great singer. It's a shame that he died so young, but yeah, it's 53, I believe. But yeah, he's great singer.
Yeah.
Like great singer. Like first album was a bit more. It was maybe the production didn't show his voice, highlight his voice as much. But on here, I think you're probably hearing his true voice because the guy can sing.
This band really just improved with every release to me.
Oh yeah, they just kept getting better. So it's just
it's a shame how it went.
Yeah. Maybe the weird album covers. I don't know. Like I don't know what happened. The industry is not. It's a weird industry, right? You can't really.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then they had to make a decision, and that was it. And then they broke up, and he don't really. The bass player apparently he's still in Seattle in a Judas Priest tribute band.
Awesome.
And, guitar player Dave, he's back in Alaska doing good work. He just tours like doing I think like classic rock covers and stuff like that, and like a cover band, and works at like a guitar shop or a guitar store, or a music store or something like that. But and just to let you know, I've messaged him actually, and he's agreed at some point after the new year, once everybody's like settled down for the holidays and he's got time, he's willing to come on here and just talk about his career and just discuss whatever he wants to discuss.
Yeah, I don't know
if we'll do it live. We'll have to ask him and see if he's really okay with that, because you don't want people asking him dumb questions. But like I'm sure everyone will be well behaved in the chat and nothing will be yeah, I'm looking forward to having him on and just let him talk, just go on about like his career and who he's open for and like, some experiences. It would be really fun because you can't really look any of this stuff up. So it'd be really good to hear from him.
yeah.
It'd be really good. Be really.
Yeah, we pretty much we covered everything that you could really find out about these guys. Really,
it sounds like you would really be appreciative of just keeping the name alive and getting it out there, and will behave myself. I don't know. I got the little weird Debbie D, so I don't know. Debbie M, yeah. No, yeah, I'm sure it'll be fine. Yeah, it would
awesome.
be. It would be fun because people in the chat could just ask any questions that they have. You go listen to it and just ask some questions.
Yep.
Yeah, like it'll be fun. Like, yeah, this album though, I'm giving it a 10. I could just listen to this, and then once it's over, okay, I'm putting it on again. Can I ask him if he likes metal music?
Well, you might like Metal Machine music.
Oh, no one likes Metal Machine music. For anyone that doesn't get that, that's a Lou Reed album that's not really music. It's just all like guitar feedback.
Yeah.
He owed the label an album or something. Yeah, he just threw a bunch of guitar feedback on for half an hour or whatever it was.
It's a double LP, so it's like an
double. Oh, it's even worse. Really? Wow. I remember coming across at one time and going to listen to it, like, oh, this is like going to be like Lou Reed doing like heavy music or something, and I played it. I'm like, what am I listening to?
It's heavy music, all right.
It's just sounds like a guitar just smashed against a speaker.
Well, what would you say though about Pandemonium? Would you say to start with the third album if you want to?
Oh yeah,
yeah,
definitely start with the third album.
Awesome.
For sure, yeah. Check out all three. The first one is called Heavy Metal Soldiers. Second one is
Hole in the Sky.
Hole in the Sky, and then third one is The Kill. Yep. I'd highly recommend all three if you're into like, I guess early 80s.
Yeah, if you're into new wave of British heavy metal and
heavy metal in general is
really all them bands that they toured with. I mean,
Yeah. I can't really. It's hard to compare them to anybody. I'd say Shout at the Devil era of Motley Crue, but it's better than that.
Yeah, it's heavier too. I think
it's heavier, and I think he's a way better singer. The guitar playing is it's top notch. Like these guys can play. It's just amazing. It's a 10 for me. Like I can't knock anything about it. Even the covers, I like the song choices of covers.
Yeah, I would love to hear them do a Leopard tune.
Yeah, they could have. I'm surprised no Def Leppard. And like, it's some great stuff. And even the Brother Kane as well. Check those out too. And they're in the thing. You can go watch them. So.
Yeah. Do you want to give a little teaser about the next two states or?
Yeah, the next states. Let me get my list because I'm forgetful. So we got. What's next here?
No, Arkansas is one, right?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I know what it is. Okay. You're gonna. No, we're not done with A states. There's a few of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's two more A states after this. So we got Arizona and Arkansas. So for Arizona, it's a band called Ashbury. Like that. Ashbury.
Yeah. Yeah, and Pete Pardo from Sea of Tranquility has ranked their albums, so if you guys never heard of them, you can check them, check his review out. And
yeah. What state are you from again, Debbie?
Utah.
Utah?
Yeah, what's the other band?
The other one is so Ashbury. They had 3 albums. They had one in 79, was it?
New Mexico. Yeah, I think 79 is the first one.
I think it was 79 was the first one. And then they broke up after that. They did the one album. I thought they were a one album band, but apparently they did reunite later on. They did reunite later on and did 2 reunion albums. So I guess the internet probably helped them a little bit. People probably heard this stuff and just thought, oh, these guys are good. It's almost like if Jethro Tull were a heavy metal band. That's how I would describe it.
Yep.
It sounds just like Ian Anderson, but yeah, we'll get into that. Like, so imagine, like, yeah, Jethro Tull mixed with heavy metal. It's a weird way to say it, but yeah. And then the other one is from Arkansas. Never heard it, just looked up, like, looking for bands from Arkansas, came across them. They've got 3 albums. They're a newer band, more modern. Well, newer, I think first album was 2012. So even that's getting old or whatever you want. So yeah, Hell Camino. Not El Camino, but Hell Camino. So it's clever, yeah, where is Arkansas? Walmart headquarters are in Arkansas. That's where it is. Yeah, no, it's yeah, Arkansas for so El Camino for Arkansas and Ashbury for Arizona. So that's going to be the next 2 after this. So that'll be fun.
Awesome.
That'll be it's another 6 albums to go through. So
looking forward to checking them out.
Oh yeah, I've heard the first Ashbury, but I haven't sat down to listen to any of the other stuff yet. But yeah, it'd be really good. It'd be really fun. So glad some people tuned in for this, and yeah, hopefully you can go and you'll go and listen to these and maybe talk about them on the next episode if you're watching, and tell us what you thought of them. And yeah,
bring it up. Yeah, post it in the comments below this video. Whatever you want to do. Yeah.
Which band rates higher? I can't really do that because
they're so different.
They're different. It's like comparing. Yeah. It's like comparing the Rolling Stones to Metallica. It's like, well, you can't.
Yeah, I mean, for my taste, completely for my taste, Pandemonium, but
Yes, for me too. For my taste, Pandemonium. But yeah, Brother Canes is still a really, really good band. It depends what you like, right? It's I try to do these to try to pick like bands that are completely Alaska flag wind. Yeah. I do like that. It does look like how did you get that? Why does it look like a shooting star from here, actually?
Yeah, I don't know.
It does, like the way it's on the way it's displayed there. Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's better than Alabama's, though, I guess.
Yeah. It's not the same type of music, so it's kind of not fair to really compare them. But yeah, they're both great. So yeah, that's it. And yeah, so thank you for watching. It was fun to start this series, and we're looking forward to next week's. I guess we're going to be doing it after the Triumph series as well.
Yep.
We're going to do Triumph.
Might start another series a little further down the line.
Maybe, yep. Yep, we might be doing something with Ernesto, actually. We're going to try to do something with him. It won't be a series. It'll be like just this one-off episode thing that we're going to do.
Yep.
So look out for that in the future, maybe in the new year. And yeah, like look out for a possible interview with Dave Resch.
Yeah.
Dave Resch. I hope I can get his name right. Maybe that should be the first question I ask. I don't know.
He'll tell us. He'll tell us.
I'm horrible at pronouncing names. It's bad. Yeah. Hopefully he'll still come on here and let him talk about his career and everything. So yeah, look out for that. Be an interview with him, and people can pop by and ask him anything. And so yeah,
I appreciate everybody for sticking around with us and watching this. And
yep. So it was great to do.
Have a happy New Year and a Merry Christmas to everybody. And
yep.
See you next weekend.
Yep. Have a good day, everybody.